Welcome to the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast, bringing you the country's top podcast on the subject of internet marketing.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Glenn Thayer, and with me, as always, is the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young. Today, what we're going to be doing is reviewing a website, one of our listeners' websites, MastersDegree.com. So while you're listening, you may want to pull that up online so you can see what we're talking about and follow along with the podcast. So let's open up the web browser and let's check out MastersDegree.com. Tom, where should we start?
Well, it's interesting. I think that we probably should start with the domain name because it's a great domain name, MastersDegree.com. So my thought is that Amanda, who is running this website, somewhere along the line got a hold of that domain and thought, well, let's build a website for that domain. And so here it is. Here's the website. Lots of content, lots of navigation, lots of links to what you would expect, which is schools, colleges, and universities. But let's take a little step back here and think, okay, well, what is the strategy and how clear is the strategy on this site? And when we know that users scan websites, we know that they don't read content on a first glance. So when I first saw this website, and I think a lot of users do that, they're going to think this website is not really a website with content I need. This is kind of one of those kind of link farm type websites, which is just going to have a link, MastersDegree.com. And the reason it does that is because there's just too much information on the homepage. There's no tagline. There's no clear messaging that says, you're at MastersDegree.com and what's the value for you. The photos, the clip art photos and the pieces of the puzzle and the master's degree that's just kind of hanging out there, it just doesn't, the user doesn't know what that means. They don't know what the intention is. So the website really needs to take a step back and simplify the homepage, get rid of all the content, in fact, put that on the About Us probably, and come up with a tagline that says, if you're looking for a master's degree, you've come to the right place. Click on a link to find the right school for you. And maybe that's all you have on your homepage, something to that effect. And get away from the clip art. And if you do use clip art, use some captions there so we understand what that clip art means. And so two things really for the homepage and to get people to understand your strategy. Number one, simplify it, get the content set up. And number two, the site needs the eye of a professional designer, a professional website designer that can integrate your logo with the rest of the homepage. And because you're selling an intangible thing, a master's degree, how do you visually show that? Well, a designer can help you with that and then tie that in with good messaging, and then your homepage will be a little more successful.
So maybe get somebody who's in a master's program for graphic design?
Yeah, that would be good. In fact, they have graphic design right there on the navigation system.
Now, speaking of the navigation, let's go back to the top part there. Obviously, yes, there's too much text on the homepage. However, when you take a look at it, should we keep all those links on the left-hand side of the page?
Well, yeah, this is something else. I mean, I don't have the exact answer for that, but my thought is it's probably too much. It's overwhelming. As I looked at this site, I thought, number one, we need to know the strategy and the focus and what the benefit is to the person that just landed on this website. And what you find by looking at the site and taking time with it is that it helps people find a master's degree program for an area that they're interested in. So we've got to kind of look at two parts of this. What if, if they know the area they're interested in, then do they need this website? They probably don't so much. They can go and search and find that. This website would probably be a great website for people that don't know exactly what they're interested in and how a master's degree can meet those needs. So say, for example, you've got a business degree and you graduated college maybe 10 or 15 years ago and you want to get into a specialized field and go back to school. Not sure what you want to do. Maybe it's marketing, maybe it's e-commerce, maybe it's management or leadership. Well, maybe this website should help you decide what's best for you. And I think that might be some of the intent. So if that's the case, then the website might take a little bit different strategy, and rather than being like an index or a guide kind of a reference guide. It can be more of a tool or a resource to help people. And then what that'll do is it'll not only be more useful and build some buzz on the web, but it'll also send an inquiry to the college that's much more qualified, that's much more ready to find out, that isn't just bouncing around from college to college gathering information, but they have more of a sense of what's important to them. So to do that, I think to do that, the site really needs to just simplify and bring everything together to probably a more basic navigation system around key areas, and then more content and articles about how you decide what's important to you and what a master's degree is all about, the benefits of it, and that sort of thing.
Because I'm also finding that the graphics are exactly the same. The layout is exactly the same from the home page all the way through all of the links.
Right. If you click on the About page, which is at the very bottom, so that's another thing I would do with the navigation is don't have two navigation systems, have one, and don't have your About, Contact, Privacy Policy, and so forth, resources and all that separate from your other navigation. You want to keep those together. But if you click on the About link, then absolutely it looks just like the home page.
But all of the links on the side.
They also do that as well.
If you go to all of the links on the side, if we go to accounting or banking, they all look exactly like the home page. A lot of text and the same graphic up front. The same graphic,
and that the graphic then becomes confusing because you wonder, did I leave the home page? Where do I go from here? So, for a website like this, I think it's just real important that it's going to be a content-rich website. There's no question. So, when you're organizing content for the web, you have to think about it differently than if it was a book or a publication where you can, thumb through pages and have a table of contents. The web has to be much more focused on the searchability and the table of contents or the navigation, and less focused on here's page after page of content. So I think it's going to be important when you look at this content to really carve it up into what is bullet point succinct content that should be on the front of pages, and then what is resource type content that can be collected into maybe an articles section or a resources section or a white paper section or a PDF download to read more. Because just from what we know about web users, they just won't read the block text in the paragraph form on your main landing pages, especially on your home page.
Right.
So, one way you can do that, if it's kind of hard to figure that out, is think about what a PowerPoint presentation looks like, or think about what summary paragraphs look like, where you just have a header and a paragraph, Try to work to that with the organization and with the way you set the content up. And, the other thought that kind of the question we have to ask here is, well, how is the website going to make money? Because the strategy is tied into making money. Now, it may be a nonprofit website, but, even a nonprofit has to generate revenue to cover their expenses.
Absolutely.
And so, I think that you should generate revenue with the website so you can cover expenses to improve the design, improve the usability, and maybe look at interactive tools on the site to help people figure out what kind of master's degree is right for them and that sort of thing. There's nothing wrong with generating revenue and just reinvesting it back into the website to help the people that you intended to help in the first place. And that's just the way it is on the web. Graphic design is expensive. It may be one of those expensive parts of a website. But this website desperately needs that. It needs a logo. It needs different images on the interior pages. It needs a home page that's more direct and can grab you. We've got to get away from the stock images and that sort of thing.
Well, let's talk about the generating revenue. What would that be? Would that be more of going to the individual schools and reaching out to their marketing departments for their marketing efforts and reaching out as maybe a sponsorship or something to that effect? Where I don't want to say by advertising, because it's not really, I wouldn't see that as the goal of this site is to do advertising. It's more we want to go through your programs and say, what do you have available from a master's degree program so we can put it on and say, here's what's available.
Yeah. Well, the website is going to have to do two things to generate revenue. One, it's going to have to get a lot of traffic. And we'll talk about SEO in just a minute, but it's going to have to generate a lot of traffic, and it's going to have conversion. It's going to have conversion points that lead to revenue, and that can come in different ways. You can you can generate traffic, and then you can run some ads for schools and colleges. I don't think that's the best way to go, but I think it's workable because I think a lot of colleges will pay for that. They'll say, yeah, put an ad. If you're getting 500 visitors a day looking for master's degree, we'll run an ad on your website. That's one way. Another way then would be to have a direct conversion. Now, here's the challenge with colleges and universities. They don't tend to be the most web-savvy organizations in the world. And so it might be a hard sell to them to say, look, I'm going to send you traffic, and when I send you that traffic, you send me a check so I can improve my website. You almost have to take that university by university. You may want to start with your local school there in your town where you're located, and see if you can find the right person in admissions, or someone in IT that can get you to admissions. And you can set up a relationship where maybe they pay you a few $100s a month to drive traffic into their website for their master's degree process. And I'm looking at the about. Let's see if we can see where they're located. So on the Contact Us page, I don't see a location. That's going to be important. We want this website to not look like the generic kind of link building websites that you see with the generic domain
right.
addresses. So to do that, one of the best ways to do that is to have physical address on the website. You might even want to have a phone number. Of course, then you have to be ready to answer that. But you have an email.
It could also be a P.O. box, and that's something, because I know privacy is a big thing on the web that a lot of folks are concerned with. If you set up a P.O. box for it, then you have a separate place to get mail, correspondence, especially if there might be a school that's out there that's interested in being on your list that may not be included.
Yes, then the school can inquire. Then they're going to want to see that you have an address. They're going to want to see where you're located, what time zone you're in. And then under the resources link, I did see the articles that are there. Definitely need to restructure that navigation so that that resources link says articles and it's in the main navigation. And in fact, I would get away from the checkmark boxes, and the reason being is that doesn't appear to be in navigation. It appears to be a list of things with a check mark on them. And we want it to look like a navigation system. We want 10 out of 10 users to look at that and say, it's not a list, it's actually navigation. And so that's an improvement, a design improvement I think the site can make. And what's interesting about the site is that there's been a lot of effort put into this, no question. A lot of content, a lot of effort, a lot of links, a lot of things on here. But the average user will look at this site like it's had no effort, there's nothing there for them, and they're just going to leave. And the reason being is because of the design, the strategy, the bullet points, and the taglines, the things we just talked about.
So let's say that we handle the graphics, we handle the design elements, so it's easy to navigate, it looks great. All the information is put where it's easy for 10 out of 10 web users to find it.
Yes.
How do we monetize? How do they monetize it? How exactly can they go about monetizing it effectively?
Yeah.
As a nonprofit? That's really the question here, because I know there's a lot of folks that are out there that have their websites. I've built this wonderful website. I've spent a lot of time, and it may not be for profit. It may not be for their business. It may be for their hobby or something to that effect, but they still need to monetize it so they can spend time doing it.
Yeah.
If they're continually doing this, this is hundreds of hours of information gathering that went into this. If you're going to keep it updated, because obviously there's always new programs coming out. You have online, you have in-person, you have all of these different aspects for colleges, for master's degree programs. How do you sift through that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think that I want to make it real clear, too, for Amanda, that you've done a lot of hard work, and that's great. You can still use that hard work in content. But I do think that to get it to another level, you have to monetize it. Now, you might be able to just invest some of your own money in it to at least kickstart it and get it going. But at some point, I think that the site should generate revenue that can be put back into the site. And like I said, I think the way to do that is going to be through partnerships with the actual universities that are going to make the money from your efforts, and developing a relationship with them to either get ads or links so that they can look. You can actually measure the clicks that you send to their site. They can measure that as well, or they can measure impressions on an ad, and they'll pay you for that because that'll drive traffic. And if you set up the site properly, there's no doubt in my mind that in the course of a year, several people will come to this website, end up on a university site, and enroll in that class, and then spend thousands of dollars with that university. So there should be some of that should be an incentive and a reward back to MastersDegree.com for doing that.
Is it customary to have a referral fee from a college? Do you know?
Well, see, that's where it gets a little confusing, and you'd want to set up a referral fee that's based on the web marketing activities. For example, getting paid by for the number of clicks that come through the website. Yeah, in the best case scenario, you'd want to get some kind of monetary reward when the student enrolls. But that may not be possible. It may be hard to track.
Right.
But I think that clicks or impressions to the university, that's all very valuable. And then it comes back to the idea that you got to have traffic, because you want to go to the university and say, I get 1,000 people a day on my website. I have 500 a day looking at your university. If you want me to continue doing that, I'd like you to pay me $200 a month, and we'll keep sending that traffic to you, whatever. And you build up. That's how you build up the budgets to pay for your graphic designer. Now, to get traffic, you've got to do some SEO work. And you've done the SEO work in the fact that you've got good content, but now we need to get some more images and photos and tag those. We need to work on our title tags and make sure that they're SEO optimized. You've got a great domain name, but let me do another search here. But I didn't see you on, if I do a search for Master's Degree in Google, which is going to get a lot of traffic, I can imagine, the number one organic result is Wikipedia. Then I have gradschools.com, which actually is a site you should take a look at because it might be a good one to emulate for conversions. And I'm scrolling down. I don't see you on page 1 of Google. That would be a great goal for you, to get page 1 of Google from MastersDegree.com. And to do that, you need to get the term Master's Degree in your website. You need to get more content on there. You need to get Master's Degree in the title tags and so forth. But
check out MastersDegree.net.
MastersDegree.net. Are they on the web?
They're on the first page of my Google results. They are actually the last link.
Interesting.
On the first page.
Yeah, so I think a competitive analysis would be real important for this website, because you'll find that there are a lot of sites already doing this, but they don't have that domain name.
And check out what they've done on MastersDegree.net.
Okay.
It's
we should do that.
They have definitely taken it. They still have a lot of text on the homepage.
The complete guide.
But I think they've done a really nice job of laying it out.
Yes, much more professional layout. It looks like a website. It doesn't look like a link farm.
And that's
and it looks
And I think the challenge that we have here is you look at mastersdegree.com and it has a lot of information, but I see it being more of an antiquated site, something that would be put up for information from 1998, something to that effect, when the web was starting to get a lot of traction.
Yeah, absolutely. MastersDegree.net looks like it's got some ads from University of Phoenix right there.
And popular colleges, Ashford University, University of Phoenix, Kaplan.
So those are private, I think. I'm not sure about Ashford. I know that University of Phoenix is a private university that will pay for ads. They're not always accredited as a top-notch college, but they will help you with a budget so you can improve the design. And they still may end up sending people to Stanford or whatever, but at least you can get the site, get more exposure on the site, and get a better design.
So let's talk about the conversion points on the site.
Yes, that's one thing I think that really needed to be improved. Is as I looked at the website, I thought, well, great. What do I do? What do I do with? How do I interact with this site, and how do I convert? Well, it looks like what you end up doing is clicking through the university, and then you're done with the website. And that's probably not the best type of conversion that you want. You might want to develop, an email marketing program where you get people to subscribe and you send them out regular notifications. You might want to have people inquire directly to you through a form and ask more specific questions, and then you can give them personalized help. I would develop a conversion process that is more direct to you and to what your website's doing, and not just take the easy way out of basically sending people to universities and colleges. And if you're going to send people to universities and colleges, then track your stats and know how that's working and how much traffic you're sending to the University of Colorado or whatever it might be.
Another thing to really look at is starting to look at social media traffic and building a base from Twitter, Facebook. Because anytime you're on Facebook, you can look at that right-hand side of the page where they have the ads that pop up, and I don't know how often I see degree programs show up.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean, there's so many things to do to drive traffic. In fact, go to our website, 4stepprocess.com, and there's a whole slew of ideas there about driving traffic, about establishing your strategy, your design, driving traffic, and then monitoring everything.
So what should Amanda be looking at here?
Well, as far as we put an action plan together for her, it'll be on our blog. But I think that this is a good time to take a look at writing a web marketing plan. And we've got a lot of resources on our site to help you do that. Be thinking about how the website can generate revenue. And you might want to look at things like AdSense from Google, Share a Sale, which is an affiliate program, and other affiliate network programs, which basically means that you set yourself up so that any college or university that is selling items or selling anything, admissions or anything, will give you a percentage of that sale or a percentage of the number of clicks monetized. So you can get some money for every click that you send to a college, and it might be on some affiliate networks. Share a Sale is a good place to start, or you can do a search in Google under affiliate networking for colleges and see what comes up. Also, define these conversion points that we talked about and have them be more integral to what you're doing as a nonprofit and not just as a website. And then I also thought it would be a great idea to perhaps develop some kind of interactive questionnaire where someone would come to the site and they'd say, I'm interested in business. And within business, I'm interested in marketing. And within marketing, I'm interested in e-commerce or something like that. And then you can narrow down the degree programs that match the interest. And it also can give people an idea as far as, what is their personality? Are they more analytical? They tend to be more logical and numbers focused. Are they more creative? Are they more into people and relationships? Are they more into things and systems? If you ask questions like that, then you can send them to the right master's degree program. I think there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to come and say, yeah, I want to do marketing. That's what I'm all about. No, they want to get a sense of what they would enjoy and what they'd be passionate about.
And they want to find something that fits exactly with what they're up to.
Yeah, and I think it'd be a great fit on this website to have that questionnaire or that kind of find your degree profile, that sort of thing. And I think that the website should have a search function. I think it's a big enough content website to have that. It should be anyway. And also, I think that you need to definitely look at generating more traffic, because the traffic is going to be the key selling point to generating revenue. Make sure you've got Google Analytics set up. I didn't go look at the code of the site, but make sure you have that set up and you're watching that on a weekly basis. So, great work on what you did on this website, and great job getting the domain name, MastersDegree.com. And, I think sitting back and developing that strategy, listening to this podcast and some of the ideas, I hope that sets you on the right track and you'll have a successful website. It's definitely something that you can consider for the long term, and it should produce results.
So thanks, Amanda, for giving us your website to review today. And if you have any questions, any websites for us to review, things to check out, or questions, topics you want us to cover, make sure you just shoot us an email. We'll be sure to take a look at that and get that on the show. Thanks again for joining us here at the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast.
This has been an Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. For more information and to see all the available podcasts and much more, visit intuitiveblog.com.